Hello, Living Dead Dolls. This is Josh, aka Doggiepants, coming at you in partnership with Mezco Toys for another Living Dead Dolls review. So I'm really excited. We're going to be taking a look at the newest revamp of the Living Dead Dolls doll that came out. And that actually is a Mezco exclusive, kind of making his way around the different cons this summer. And that, of course, is Lou Sapphire, which is pretty exciting because it's the first doll that we have from Series 2. I think all of us are kind of waiting to see if we're going to, go right down the line and just start kind of remaking all of the Series 2 dolls, or if he's just kind of a one-off, and if we may see some other ones from other series. We just don't know because we got all of Series 1. Still waiting on Posey, but hopefully she'll arrive soon. And now we've got the first doll from Series 2. So let's take a look at this doll, and I'll kind of go through everything that is Lou Sapphire, all right? So first up, let's take a look at his coffin. Here it is. It looks exactly the same as all of the other kind of revamped versions. It does say Lou Sapphire right here at the bottom. They really squeezed it in, but they were able to make it happen. And then, of course, we've got this Mezco exclusive sticker. We saw that on the variant version of Exorcist last year as well. It's exactly the same as all of the others. Now, this one does have a very colorful, very elaborate photo of Lou right there on the back, and he's holding his contract. So yeah, this one does kind of pop when you see it from behind. And with that, I'm going to, well, first let's take a look at the inside. I just want to show you kind of how it looks exactly the same as everything else. We've got kind of this plastic that looks like it's got some texture to it, almost like the inside of a coffin, of course. And then the doll sits right there on top. You can take this entire piece out, boom. And that's, of course, how the doll is exposed, by taking that top piece of plastic off. And then underneath that is where you're going to find all of the accessories for Lou, which I will go through in just a minute. But first, let's take a look at the doll as a whole, shall we? And here he is. He's actually really, really fantastic. I know some people had some thoughts because a lot of his molds are very similar to Sin's, like, oh, they're just kind of revamping, but he is an exclusive. It's almost like the variant version of Sin, honestly, in kind of a weird way. So I don't mind it. I think it's kind of smart, it's cool, and the quality that they put into this doll, especially his suit, makes up for anything that you may have some concerns about. So let's take a look at him. First up, I want to talk about this incredible suit, right? So it is a red kind of satiny material. So it's got a little bit of shine to it. And then we do have that black lapel right there on the top. And it lays perfectly. They've got it tacked down so nicely. And then we have these pockets here on the side, these kind of faux pockets with some buttons and snaps right there in the front. His pants are the same way. They are a separate piece that does actually Velcro right there in the front like a fly, which is nice. And then come down to a very simple leg. And then they are pressed nicely, so it feels like a very high quality suit. I mean, he is the devil after all. He's gonna have a nice outfit. Now, underneath this jacket, let me open it real quick. Ooh, I don't want to damage any snaps. Yeah, there we go. You're going to see he's got a white shirt, very much like Damien. So it's a white button-down shirt. It is, I want to make sure I'm telling you the truth. Yes, it is a separate piece from the pants. You can see right there, it Velcros right up the front as well. There's no kind of hidden button details on the front of the shirt, which is fine because the tie does cover it. Now, just like Damien, the tie has a little bit of kind of metal on the inside, so you can shape it however you'd like. So it does lay nice and neat underneath there. And that is his outfit. Now, the one unique thing, let me just snap that close. The one unique thing that he does have that we haven't seen on any of these revamped Living Dead dolls yet is actually the mold of the bottom half of his leg. So I'm gonna pull up the pants so you can get a real good look at what's going on here. And he has got Ooh, am I gonna be able to get it up over the kneecap and the joint? I don't know if I am. But he has got, boom, 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 the hooved feet and kind of like the goat legs there. It does bend back as well. And the detail on these, really beautiful. See that kind of red airbrushing on the top there? It's nice and flat on the bottom, so he doesn't actually have too difficulty of a time standing, which I was a little concerned about. And then of course we've got this kind of backwards leg bend, which is a nice detail, especially since it's hidden underneath his pants. So kind of like at first glance you wouldn't realize, but he is full on, you know, part goat, which I love, gives him, you know, little danger to him. And as you can see, I'm having no issues standing him. He's not leaning on his tail or anything. So in relation to kind of the Living Dead dolls, he actually does really, really well in this kind of revamped version. Some of them, like Exorcist, might need a little stand. He does not. He does have a similar tail to Sin, and it does have some bendable aspects to it as well, so you can position it however you'd like. One thing I didn't point out with the jacket, which I think is something that's worth looking at, is you can see how they've kind of cut the jacket to make room for his tail there. So it does kind of have like this weird little flap in the back, but it makes sense for the way that you want to display him. So that's his tail. And then we get into his beautiful face that we've got going on there, right? So only one set of eyes with this doll. So you don't need to change out his eyes, but the eyes are kind of a vibrant yellow color with a little bit of black around the edge. The same face as Sin, so that kind of almost Buffy the Vampire Slayer kind of demon forehead he's got going on with these smaller horns. Pointed ears, just like Sin, and a little bit of a smirk, which I like. I also like the kind of raised eyebrow and the thick, dark eyebrows that he's got going on there. Now, his hair is that kind of like fuzzy, I can't remember what it's called, like flecked or something like that, texture. So it does have some texture to it. You want to be careful because these can rub off very easily if they're just sitting in the coffin and they're moving around back and forth. We see that with a lot of dolls like Jacob and stuff from the original series, or Psychobillies. People that have this type of hair, sometimes it does get worn off in the back. So just be careful with that if you're keeping him in the coffin and you know, moving from place to place, moving him around. But it does come down to a nice widow's peak right there. And it's not just painted on. That's all flecked and, you know, fuzzy and has texture to it. So it's nice. It's good quality. Now, I have yet to open his face, but he does have, very similar to Posey, another face with the giant horns. Again, this is, I think, the exact face mold of, did I say Posey? I meant Sin. God, I am just saying all kinds of weird things today. Sorry about that. Sin. The same face as Sin. Wow, how many times did I do that in the video? Whatever. Yeah, so the same face mold as Sin, and you can see the kind of craziness going there on the forehead. Again, this is that same fuzzy material, flecked. We've got the mouth going on there, so you've got a really nice detail in the mouth with all the exposed teeth. It's airbrushed nicely, and then the ears are on this as well. I'm gonna go ahead and try to take off his face and swap that out. Again, I have yet to actually take his face off, so it might take a second. Yep, there we go. So there is that. We are going to swap out the eyes again. For those of you that have yet to see it, the eyes are in place with this little kind of holder here that keeps everything in place. The eyes do come off of this piece, but you want to make sure that it's in the right direction, because otherwise it's not going to want to get into place. So sometimes this black piece, if you try to install it upside down, actually is going to cause you a lot of headache, which I've made that mistake before, and I'm not going to make it again today. Now we're just going to pop his other face back on, and here he is. It's as simple as that. So now you got the kind of demon, hardcore, you've signed the contract face going on. Now, one of the other accessories that he does come with, actually really the only accessory other than his hands, is this cool flame. It's the same flame, again, that we saw with Sin, not Posey, Sin. It does balance pretty nicely in between these horns. So it does look like he's got kind of this demon fire blazing over top of his head. Excuse me. Now, I said one piece, but there is, of course, the pitchfork. Again, the pitchfork is the same design as Sin. It's just got a different paint kind of motif going on. Black at the top, completely red at the bottom. But there is some nice details with this, and it does fit nicely in his curved hand. Now, he comes with a regular set of hands that are on him when he is in the coffin. I've taken one of those off and put the rounded hand in so that he can actually hold on to the pitchfork. He only has one rounded hand, but he does come with kind of the devil horn hands as well, which I think are hilarious, pretty cute for both sides. So you could display him with those as well if you so desired. Now, we've got, here is one thing that I find a little bit of a bummer, and that is his death certificate. Is this his death certificate? I guess I haven't opened any of these up. You're seeing me in real time take a look at this doll. I got him a little bit later than everybody else, so I haven't had a chance to really explore. Wow. So, he comes with no death certificate, but a contract for your soul. That's his sized, right? And it's got all kinds of writing. It's very little writing with kind of this symbol on the back, a bunch of symbols. I think I might need to decipher some of this, and a whole chart on the back. But there's actually a giant version for us as well. Now, I'm not gonna fill this out because I don't mess with stuff like that. Some people may want to, but you can get a better picture of everything that's on that tiny little contract, all of those symbols, and I think we've got something to decipher it. So I might need to decipher it, or if somebody has already deciphered it, put it in the comments below. But there's more right there on the top. And then, of course, we've got the contract for your soul here with all kinds of writing that go all the way down. Really cool pieces. Lou Sapphire does not come with a death certificate, which that's what I thought I was opening, but actually I see that it's a small contract and a big contract. I love that, the aspect of the new ones where they're kind of hidden in different places. These ones are not, they're just kind of put out for you to see. But that's totally fine. I get kind of why they did that. And I could be wrong, but part of me thinks that the original Lou, did he come with a death certificate? I don't remember. Yeah, so if you know off the top of your head, let me know, because for some reason I'm thinking that he didn't. I think he just came with a contract. I love him. I think he's super, super cool. Great to display. Easy to have stand, which is really nice. The only piece that I'm going to say I really miss from the original Lou Sapphire is the fact that he does not have his ring. I really wish he had his ring. But other than that, I think he is fantastic. Really, really cool. I know people have been getting, been saying kind of they were a little disappointed by him just because he's a whole revamp of Sin. But it makes sense. They're both demons, and he's the devil, but she's a demon. So it works for me. But yeah, that's everything that I've got for him. Get out and get this doll. He's really cool. He's still on Mezco Toys, and I think he's going to be at the different cons if you're going out there to meet Damien and hang out with him. But yeah, love him. Love Living Dead dolls. So excited that they're going to keep coming out. Fingers crossed that they're selling all right and we keep getting more, because I really do think this iteration is really freaking cool. So yeah, get out and buy those dolls. I love you guys. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye.